so I'm going to show you my presentation. So let me okay. So my first slide is just the title slide. And then it goes into strategy 1, which is independent reading. So independent reading is just free voluntary reading. You can pleasure read or silent read. So teachers would provide time in the day for the student to complete this so that they can read whatever they like, and it's anything that they enjoy. So the research that supports this is that children read independently. That enhances student comprehension, their vocabulary, their general knowledge, and their empath, them being in empathy. It also helps English language learners read in English and their native language. And so for the application, the students are given the freedom to choose what they like to read, and they would have 10 to 20 minutes to read. And for Common Core, they read wide. Students must read widely and deeply from among a broad range of high quality, increasingly challenging literacy and informational text. So that's just the Common Core standard that it aligns with. And there are many online resources. In the book, he just linked a bunch of links for you can go to. So there are many. Here's just an example of that. Strategy, my second one is strategy 3. It's graphic organizer. It's a visual display or template used to scaffold students' reading, writing, listening, and speaking activities. So that can be like a KWL chart, and diagrams, concept maps, all kinds of stuff. So with the research, it supports that it helps in all subject areas to increase their reading comprehension and their vocabulary comprehension. For their application is they could make a story and then make a word chart as a graphic organizer to kind of keep in mind what words they're using. There isn't a lot of actual go online and use technology for these. These are better to use your hand and your mind and your handwriting skills, but some online templates you can get from mind mapping, flowchart tools, and you can download some graphic organizers from online. So this is an example of that. Then we have the third strategy, which is cooperative writing. So this is just a group activity that requires more than one person to write a finished product. This would increase language acquisition. So studies show that this kind of writing helps ELLs and for everyone's language use. And then some studies show that working together produces a better writing product. So for the application, you can use cooperative drawing so that all the students can draw in a drawing. They can all contribute or all contribute with their writing a story. For the Common Core, it definitely incorporates with they can also practice elements of argument, narrative, and expository writing. So that goes in with the Common Core standards. And for technology, they can always publish their work. They can publish in online blogs, and then teachers could also use this to create private virtual rooms just for their students. Here's an example picture of that. And then strategy, the next one is activating prior knowledge. So this is basically just activating their prior knowledge to the content that they are learning. So prior knowledge is something that they already know. So we cannot determine the best way for our students to learn the new content without knowing what they already know about this. So supporting research, it shows that it is easier for us to learn something new when we attach something with it that we already know. So it also says it's a critical step in the learning process. So for the application, you can always activate their prior knowledge before a reading activity. And you can also use a KWL chart to activate their prior knowledge because no is the K in that. So for Common Core standards, it shows that activating prior knowledge is a necessary step in accessing complex text, but should not be used as a bypass. It should just be help. It should be used as a tool. So for technology, providing text or videos at home is a great way to activate prior knowledge to know what the students can do. And then virtual field trips are also a great way for the kids to activate their prior knowledge. Here's a cute little clip of the student learning all the things they already know. And then we have Jacksaw. I'd never heard of this, and so I was really interested in it. So this is like where it's a content that each student has a piece of the puzzle of the content, so they must all become experts on this topic, and they all take turns teaching it to their classmates. So they're like the teacher. So this research shows that this is the only strategy that scores high in all of the sections of that specific researcher's criteria. Studies also show that this has a positive effect on the students' learning. So for application, they had a game example. It was called the driver's license jigsaw game, and it had a bunch of like word problems, and each student kind of takes on that problem and they do it and they become masters at it. There's a ton of different games that you can play. And then for technology connections, teachers can either make their own materials or download them and adapt them to their needs. You could have the students, an example that they use is you could have the students find scholarly articles online of a certain country, and then they can compare and contrast the different things that the article said. Would be really cool. Here's an example. I couldn't really find a good example. I didn't really know what picture to put, but so that's what kids being a puzzle piece and sticking together. So I also put a picture in here of my student. She was using strategy number 1, which was independent reading, which pre-K they can't really read, but she loves doing picture walks. So I kind of, during small group time, I kind of pulled a few of them aside, and she really did the best. She really enjoyed it. So this is my ELL strategies, and I had really fun researching it, and yeah.